Some celebrity deaths shock the world, but others leave behind questions that have never been answered. Conflicting witnesses, missing evidence, timelines that don't match, and final moments that remain unexplained even decades later. Today, we're counting down the top 10 most mysterious celebrity deaths of all time. Cases that continue to fascinate, confuse, and haunt the world. 10th. Heath Ledger, 2008. Heath Ledger was preparing for several major film roles and reportedly dealing with intense insomnia when he died from a fatal combination of prescription drugs. Authorities ruled it accidental, but the details are strange. The medications came from different doctors. Friends gave conflicting reports about his mental state, and his sudden decline came just weeks after filming one of the most psychologically demanding characters in modern cinema. No one was charged, but the exact circumstances leading to the deadly mixture remain unclear. 9th. Brittany Murphy, 2009. Brittany Murphy collapsed suddenly in her home and died at just 32. The official cause was pneumonia and anemia, rare for someone young and otherwise healthy. But the mystery deepened when her husband died months later under nearly identical circumstances. Environmental tests suggested the possibility of toxins, while other experts dismissed the theory. The overlapping symptoms, timing, and unanswered questions continue to spark debate about what truly happened inside that house. 8. Elvis Presley, 1977. Elvis's death was officially ruled heart failure, but the medical picture was more complicated. He suffered from a massively enlarged heart, long-term prescription drug use, and multiple untreated health issues. However, the autopsy details were sealed for decades. Conflicting statements from doctors and the chaotic scene at Graceland created layers of confusion. While no evidence suggested foul play, the lack of transparency ensured the mystery lived on far beyond his death. 7. Natalie Wood, 1981. Natalie Wood drowned during a late-night boat trip with her husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. There were reports of shouting that night. Her body had unexplained bruises, and all three stories from the people on board differed slightly. The case was reopened 30 years later, with Wagner named a person of interest, though never charged. The truth about what happened on that dark water remains out of reach. 6th. Bruce Lee, 1973. Bruce Lee collapsed and died suddenly after complaining of a headache. Autopsy results showed swelling in the brain, possibly triggered by a reaction to medication. But this didn't match his extraordinary physical health, and he had suffered a similar collapse just weeks earlier. Doctors proposed dehydration, heat stroke, allergies, and rare medical conditions, but none have been confirmed. His death remains one of the most debated medical mysteries in entertainment history. 5th. Tupac Shakur, 1996. Tupac was shot in a busy part of Las Vegas, surrounded by witnesses. Yet the case went unsolved for decades. Conflicting eyewitness accounts, disappearing leads, and gang-related tensions all clouded the investigation. Only in 2023 did authorities finally charge a suspect, claiming he orchestrated the attack. But many key players had died, and several major questions, including motive and exact details of the shooting, remain unanswered. 4th. Whitney Houston, 2012. Whitney Houston was found in a hotel bathtub shortly before the Grammy Awards. The official explanation was drowning, with heart disease and cocaine use as contributing factors. However, the timeline inside the hotel room remains fuzzy. Witnesses reported strange behavior hours before, and several questions, like how long she was unattended, have never been fully clarified. There's no evidence of foul play, but the circumstances remain unsettled. Third, Michael Jackson, 2009. Michael Jackson died from an overdose of propofol administered by his personal doctor. The death was ruled a homicide, and the doctor was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. But the deeper mystery is how the situation escalated. Why was a hospital-grade anesthetic being used at home? How long had it been happening? And why did no one in his inner circle intervene, despite seeing his deteriorating health? The medical cause is known, but the decisions leading up to it remain disturbing and unclear. Kurt Cobain, 1994. Kurt Cobain was found dead in his home from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The case was labeled a suicide almost immediately, but the inconsistencies have fueled decades of debate. The high amount of heroin in his system, a shotgun with no readable fingerprints, confusing timelines surrounding his disappearance. Police maintain the ruling, and no evidence of homicide has ever been found. But the strange details keep the mystery alive. Marilyn Monroe, 1962. Marilyn Monroe's death was ruled a probable suicide by barbiturate overdose. But nearly every detail surrounding her final hours is disputed. There were delays in calling authorities. Phone records vanished. Statements from people close to her changed over time. And parts of her autopsy report raised questions that were never fully resolved. Despite decades of investigation, no definitive explanation has ever emerged. Her death remains the most analyzed and most mysterious in Hollywood history. Some questions fade with time, but these cases continue to haunt fans, investigators, and historians decades later. Because sometimes the real mystery isn't how they lived, but how they left this world.